Okay, students, so we are resuming our class on quality in the healthcare, and the slide, the last slide was the PDCA cycle or the Deming cycle. It is known as the William Deming, who was the management guru, and he was a American engineer by profession, who gave us this cycle. So this is for continuous quality improvement. You plan something, carry out the action, check for your achievement of the goals, and then further act on it. If there is any gap, act on it. So that is how it is. Now we go on to the next part of the lecture, that is regarding the national quality assurance standards given by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare for the various public health facilities which are here in our country. And what they say, the stated objective of all these standards is affordable, equitable and quality health care. It should be affordable to the person who needs it. It should be equitably distributed without considerations of the age, sex, caste, creed, religion or domicile or his geographical location. Even if he is in a far-flung areas, we should be able to provide him the health care when he needs it. And the quality, yes, of course, we have been talking about quality since morning. So that is the quality health care we have to provide to our clientele or our customer. And then now I will take you to a next level of our journey, the national quality standards of the government of India, how they have come into existence. So just to tell you the evolution of the NQAS. Certification and accreditation were being provided by the NABH, ISO, JCI and other institutions, and then there were standard models which have been developed by the IPHF, that is the Indian Public Health Services, the BIS, Bureau of Indian Standards, then other organizations and guidelines and protocols developed by various ministries and authorities. Then there is an assurance of the quality that is given by the family planning, RCH, departmental and kind of things. Then we have the improvement models which are known as the Lean, Six Sigma, Kaizen, 5S and other quality improvement models. So after having studied all these programs, the ministry, they evolved, they developed their own standards, and the recommendations were evidence based, sustainable, public health specific and low cost of implementation, because the NABH, which was already there in the say kind of a private sector, which was a precursor to the NQAS, there was no standards for the public health facilities. So the people just wanted the public health facilities also to be evaluated for the better quality services to be delivered to their clientele. So that is how it happened, and the government then decided to go ahead with the development of the national quality standards. So these public health facilities, which are we always know that government funds are always at scarcity, so we cannot spend money. So they said, okay, fine, we have to look into the quality aspect, but to meet our quality standards we have to set our own standards, which are not like the JCI which is there in the United States of America and some other standards which are there in the developed countries. So we have set our own standards, which means internal quality culture. What is our internal quality culture? They are evidence based, they are structure, process and outcome based, flexibility for the states to customize, because our country is very vast and we have so many differences in the cultural habits of the people for whom we have started the hospitals, for whom and they become our clientele. Explicit, measurable and transparent, sustainable and scalable, inbuilt accreditation, certification and low cost of implementation should be there. That is the very important aspect of the NQAS. So, how it all happened? In the year 2012, there was a group formed by the government known as the NHSRC as Secretariat, with representation from the program divisions, academic institutions, states, development partners and United Nations organizations, WHO and UNICEF. So they made one organization within the ministry which is known as the NHSRC, National Health Systems Resource Center. National Health Systems Resource Center. And then there was release of the operational guidelines for the quality assurance and national quality assurance standards in the year 2013. That was the first edition of the standards released. There was guidebook for the district hospitals, and we also launched the National Urban Health Mission. Then there was, in the next year, they have developed the priority area for the NHM, and then they released the quality standards and assessors guidebook for the public primary health center and the community health centers. And then in the year 2015, you should remember that Kayakalp was launched, and then the development of the quality assurance standards for the urban PHCs were developed and published. The Kayakalp scheme was a scheme which was specific for the public health facilities, and it was a theme-based booklet which was issued by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare after the announcement of the Prime Minister on 2nd October 2014 about the Swachh Bharat mission. So you should correlate this thing with the Swachh Bharat mission and the Kayakalp, which came into existence in the year 2015. This is the book which was the first standards issued for the district hospital in the year 2013. It is still existing and it is under revision. It will be revised, and as and when it will be revised, we will come back to you. But this is the one book, and volume 1 and volume 2, and there are the few photographs where the different activities I am trying to share with you. Now, what are the different features, what are the key features of the NQAS, National Quality Assurance Standards, or the National Quality Assurance Program? So that now you must recapitulate. It is a unified organizational framework. Single body, that is the Ministry of Health, has developed all this framework. Of course, we have taken into consideration the various other organizations' guidelines like the SQA, like the ASQA, that is the Asian Standards Quality Assurance. Complete intrinsic system of quality. It is about us only. It is our own system of quality assurance, so it is an intrinsic system. Explicit measurement system, because if you cannot measure something, you cannot standardize, and if you cannot standardize, you cannot improve. So the measurement is very, very important. You cannot have a subjectivity in the assessment of the standards for any organization, for any hospital for that matter. So we have to have the measurement system, flexibility of adopting as per state's need, because our country is very diverse. And training and capacity building, they conduct training for the various category of people, right from the clinician, administrator, nursing staff, and any other person who is related with the healthcare industry, to give him the training about those standards. They become the internal assessor, they become the external assessors. that is the capacity building. Continuous assessment and scoring. It's a process which is not a one-time process. The process is about getting the marks about as per your performance level, and then giving you an opportunity to improve. Inbuilt quality improvement model, separate standards for the different level of the care facility, certification at state and national level to give you the recognition, to give you the some amount of incentive, because without incentive motivation may not come. And incentives on achievement and sustenance, this is a monetary benefit which is given to that particular institution, that particular district hospital or a community health center or a public primary health center who has been certified having achieved those standards for a NQAS certificate to be awarded at the state level or national level, so that they get a recognition and they get some incentive and monetary benefits, and they continue to improve upon their past performance. For the national quality assurance standards, they are at the national level, state level, district level and the facility level. There is a Central Quality Supervisory Committee. Central Quality Supervisory Committee, then there is a State Quality Assurance Committee, State Quality Assurance Unit, District Quality Assurance Committee, District Quality Assurance Unit, and then there is a quality team in the particular facility, which may be a district hospital or a primary health center, community health center or a urban primary health center. So that is how it is. Now we come to the complete intrinsic system of quality, that is the of public health, by public health and for public health. Explicit measurement system. What is difference between implicit and the explicit? The question comes naturally to our mind. If it is an explicit measurement system, what is the difference between implicit and the explicit system of measurement? So the implicit system is easy to design, but it is hard to design. It requires more vigorous training. Implicit, it requires less vigorous training. It requires highly qualified assessors, do not require domain experts. There is a scalability is limited and easy to scale up. More subjective, it is more objective. Sorry, it is more objective. It needs interpretations. It needs it is self-explanatory. Less in volume, it is voluminous of course. Reference to the other guidelines and reference is limited. It is a quality parameter which is very useful for our own country and our own health facilities, public health facilities. So we have gone for the design part, which was difficult to achieve, but then we did it, and then the government has issued the standards which are which require less vigorous training, which do not require domain experts, which is easy to scale up, which is more objective, which is self-explanatory, which is of course voluminous, but then the references are limited. So we are happy with that. Now flexibility of the adopting as per state's need. Our country is country of unity in diversity. Training and capacity building. The training is provided at various levels, and we then have the create a large training team, a large number of people to understand the standards, implement the standards, assess the facility, define the gaps, and then go ahead with that. So there are different types of training workshops being conducted by the ministry at the state level and at the central level. The awareness workshop of 1 day, internal assessor training of 2 days or 3 days, then the service provider training for the 3 days, and then there is an external assessor training for 5 days which is conducted. Now, we are assessment, scoring and performance measurement. I will just cover this thing and then we will have a break. Reporting of the key performance indicators. There are key performance indicators which are there in the 4 different categories. That is, the one is the productivity, related to the productivity, one is related to the efficiency, one is related to the clinical quality, and the 4th one is the service quality. So these are the different parameters. We will study them in detail subsequently. Facility level quality improvement comes from the inbuilt quality improvement model, which means we are going for the Lean Six Sigma, we are going for the Kaizen quality improvement model and other quality improvement models. This is the Deming cycle, the plan, do, check, act cycle, and these are all the quality improvement tools. Certification at the state and the national level, separate standards for different levels of care facility, which gives us flexibility, and then there is an incentive on the achievement and sustenance, and so that it's not a one-time activity, it's a continuous process of quality improvement. That is to be understood. It's not a destination, it's a journey. So with that, I will now have a break and we will continue with the remaining part in the next class.